Hello?
Hello, Sean is there. Hello,
Hey there.
everybody. Hello. Let me shut off some music here. Little Jefferson Starship there. Nothing's gonna stop us now. Here on WCAL, CLAUDE. Hi, Sean.
Hello.
Good to see you. You've been a stranger. Turn on that video. Let me see that handsome face.
Hold on.
Hit my record button here, and
Do you have video?
we have
Okay,
video.
yeah, there it is. Yeah.
We definitely have video. Look at all those people coming on. Today, we are going to talk about predictions. What is going to happen? Hello, Wade. Hello, Alexander Green.
Hey there.
Sean, the legend Osby with the Omaha, Nebraska report. Mr. Guzman, if you got background noise, please hit your mute button. You guys know how to use this Zoom thing. A lot of different things. I've been doing Claude predictions now for, I don't know, 12, 13 years. It's amazing. Some of them are pretty darn close, and they sound a little ridiculous at this time of the year on December 28th, but who knows what's going to happen. I'm going to talk about health, the economy, who shall live and who shall die, a little Old Testament there. What's going on with the pandemic? What's going to happen to real estate, interest rates, things like that. And before we get started, I like videos on. I do love audience participation. If you have a question, throw it in the chat box there. We are recording. We are live. And so first things first, anybody has something to share? Good morning, Mr. Wilkinson. There he is, that handsome face. Look at that. Sean, what's going on in Omaha? Give us the Omaha report.
Well, short version is we managed to avoid the worst of the snow. They said we were going to get 24 hours of continuous snow. We did not, so that's good. It's actually warming up a little bit, but the prices on the housing market is kind of ridiculous. Omaha's kind of got a weird situation where it's kind of landlocked to the east. So if you're looking for a starter house in Omaha, the starting price for the low end for a starter house in Omaha is $340,000 if you're looking for new construction.
You know what $340,000 will buy you in the Soviet Socialist state of Southern California, where I live part of the year?
A shack behind Walmart.
Yeah, cardboard box behind Walmart.
Absolutely.
If you're lucky, and you won't even have a view on that. So it's all relative, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's all relative on that. Let's just start off with a prediction right now. I believe that real estate, and I have a mind map that I kind of made here. Let me show it to you guys real fast. I'll share my screen here and just go over that. I have a lot of different things I did with my little script. This is the way I like to do things. I'm a scribbler. I do a little artwork and things like that on there. The first thing I'm going to tell you is I disagree with, I think we're in a recession. I disagree. I think we've been in a recession for several months. I think our growth is slowing. I think it's going, and I'm an optimistic person, by the way. Let me just tell you that. Recessions traditionally, historically, last 18 months or longer. I think we got into this recession somewhere near the end. Someone's got some background noise there. Please mute yourself. I think we've been in a recession for several months. I think our growth. There we go. Jessica, you got background noise. Got to mute yourself. I think we've been in it. If you guys go, all you got to do, you don't have to be Nostradamus. Go to the supermarket, go shopping, okay, and see what things are costing. Hi, Bill Pinnell. See you there driving along the road there. Keep your eyes on the road, buddy. And I think it's going to get worse going into 2023. What does that mean for us as investors? Okay, we're seeing interest rates going up. I already heard on the news last night that definitely in February, there's going to be another interest rate increase. Okay, what does that mean when interest rates go up? What does that mean? Somebody? Anybody? What does
Less
it mean to
less
our
borrowing.
lives? Go ahead, Alexander.
Less borrowing.
Less borrowing, less affordability. Okay, these really expensive houses, they're still on the market. They're still very expensive historically. And what happens to that window of available buyers every time it goes up a half a point, another half a point? They've been doing it month after month. I'm surprised if we don't see it also in possibly in January, another half point. What does that do? It means that houses are going to be on the real estate market much longer. We're seeing that already. Houses are not selling in certain urban markets, hot markets. They're not selling fast like they used to. Okay. So if they're going to stay on the market longer, guess what happens when someone needs to sell a house? They have to move. They're getting divorced. They can't afford the interest rates on that adjustable mortgage anymore. What happens? What are we going to start to see go up?
Foreclosures?
I can't hear you. I'm sorry.
Foreclosure.
Foreclosures. Thank you. Who said that? Tim?
Me.
Who's me? I'm sorry.
Alex. Sorry, Al.
Alex, turn on your video, Alex.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah, we're going to see foreclosures are starting to increase right now. We're going to see foreclosures increase even more. That means more. I'll tell you what, I don't think the banks, we're coming out of this recession. Do you think the banks are going to be forgiving? You think there's going to be that moratorium on foreclosures and on evictions and things like that coming out of this pandemic? Are we coming out of this pandemic? I've got some notes on that too, by the way. So real estate is going to slow down. It's going to be longer on the market. Less people can afford it. What does that mean to us as investors? This is the good part. Okay, while everybody else is doing Chicken Little, what's it going to mean to us as investors? Is this an opportunity? Nod your heads, breathe. Give me something here.
Yeah. Under certain contexts that there's.
Thank you. We're going to see, this is the opportunity. What has everybody been saying on and on in the chat rooms, in all the different and bigger pockets and all the other chat rooms? Oh, I can't find anything. It's too expensive. Everybody wants top price. No sooner do I make an offer and somebody else overbid it or grabbed it. What does it mean to us when we have this window going into 2023 when properties are not selling? Does that mean prices are going to come down? People are going to be more motivated? Is there an opportunity to get good homes in good neighborhoods under the terms, lease purchasing, subject to owner finance, wholesaling? Is this the opportunity we've been waiting for? You better believe it. Okay, so going into this market, this is the time when hopefully you were prepared. If you guys remember earlier in the year, I said, this is the time to tighten your belt in early 2022. This is the time to accumulate capital, because when the opportunity comes, and it's going to come really hard and really fast in 2023, where we're going to have a chance to buy good properties in good neighborhoods. Absolutely. So this is the time when you either want to get into your own home or some other home. Are interest rates going to be higher? Yes, definitely. But gosh, I don't know. Any of you old timers like me remember 14, 15% interest rates? Anybody remember that? Nobody? You guys, I need cricket sounds in the background here. Absolutely. And so
no, nobody's as old as you are, Claude.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm perpetually 36, but I only have one fault. I always lie about my age. Absolutely. But I run 10 miles a day, and I did 10 laps in the pool this morning at 6:30. So
nice.
I'm
Good
fighting.
job.
I'm fighting the good fight. Okay.
Good job.
Hey, gotta fight. Really. That and cheap hair dye, that's all you need, really. Absolutely. I've got some predictions. Jessica, I know you're interested in health and things like that. I've got some predictions on that too. So the
Okay.
real estate market is an opportunity now to pick up the properties you always wanted at great prices, maybe flexible terms. It could last well into, I'm not sure about this part, but I think it could last well into 2024. Why are we going to have this inflation? Prices are going up, right? We see it at the supermarket right now. Money is not going to go as far. We're going to see increase in foreclosures, as I said, and possibly evictions once these moratoriums are out of the way from the pandemic on there. Gas, one interesting thing I'm going to predict. Gasoline is coming down and it's going to keep coming down. There will be a glut of oil or gasoline out there. How many of you have spent $111.68 to fill up your tank of gas like I did in California? Okay, that is, how do people afford that? I ask myself. Okay, but I do believe gas will come down. A couple of my predictions here. I think we're going to have a tough winter. We're seeing it already. I mean, you guys are all over the country and it's really early. We're still in December. I think we're going to see I don't know if it's global warming or not, or the ice caps are melting or what's going on, but I'm in the mountains in Colorado and we're getting a lot of snow this winter, which is kind of a good thing if you're prepared for it. But I had friends stuck. How many of you had friends stuck over the holidays in airports?
Some people are still stuck.
Some people are still stuck. What
They're
is
saying
going
some of them may be
on?
stuck till Saturday.
Yes, it's crazy. I have friends, they've been trying for 2 days to leave San Diego and come to DIA, Denver Airport.
Wow.
Yeah, Southwest Airlines, something's going on with Southwest. I don't know. It's my favorite it's my private jet, Southwest Airlines. It's my favorite airline because historically, they're always on time. They're just a great airline. Some other predictions here. This recession might go into 2024. We don't know. Government spending. You know, these politicians, they keep cranking out, they keep spending and spending. What do you think that does? That makes all this continue. Okay, and we get these things. We get these up and downs in the economy, but this is your little window of opportunity. I got something silly on the right-hand side there. Rolling Stones will go on another final tour. Okay, I think they're going to be playing well into their 90s. Okay. Gold and silver, precious metals. You don't have to be a genius. What's going to happen to gold and silver when you're in a recession? When you have all this inflation, they're going up, baby. They're going up. Okay. So I don't do much of that, but you're going to see. Someone I read predicted that gold will go up to $3,000 an ounce.
Wow.
Can you believe that?
Wow.
I read that in the Economist magazine. A lot of the things I talk about today, I read a lot. Wall Street Journal, New York Times, the New Yorker, the Atlantic. I read a lot of different stuff every day, and I take the things that I think make sense to me. What else did we have here? What do you guys think about Twitter and Elon Musk? You know?
Yeah.
Man spent $44 billion. Do you think he's going to let it go down the drain?
No.
I think Twitter will be reinvented and become a viable, competitive social media outlet. I really don't think I think he's going to do something with it. And this is a guy who, you know, when he puts his teeth into something, he makes it successful. He's got a lot more successes than failures.
Yes.
Any feedback on that?
I would agree with you.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think he's gonna do, he doesn't play by everybody else's rule book. Has anyone heard anything from oh my gosh, Warren Buffett going into
No.
this year? He's been a little quiet lately, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has.
Yeah. I got something here. Oh, oil will come down. I said that already. I think there's going to be a NATO incident. I hope I'm wrong. A lot of these predictions I make, I hope I'm wrong, but there's too much going on in the Ukraine and there's too many NATO countries too close. Somebody's going to make a mistake. Some missile's going to go the wrong way. And hopefully, I hope I'm wrong on this prediction. What do you guys think about this? This war in Ukraine, I think Russia's hurting. They're getting their butts kicked and Ukraine's suffering. How long do you think that can go on?
Also, something else to throw into that mix is that there are a lot of rumors from people around saying that Putin is very sick, that he may have cancer. He's getting treated by a lot of Western doctors, but he's actually very ill, possibly end of life terminal ill. So
Oh, wow.
that could have some effect on how because he has this vision of wanting to put together the old Mother Russia, and what he's going to be willing to do to try to accomplish that.
Yeah. Here's the scary thing. Well, Russia doesn't have a chain of command like we do. Even our chain of command was a little bit in question last year. By the way, I am not a political person. I like to bring people together, not apart. You can take these predictions and use them, take whatever you want from them. I have a prediction here. Putin and Trump will both die. Kind of a negative
Wow.
prediction here, huh? I don't know why it came
Wow.
in my head. I don't know how it's going to happen, what's going to happen, but I put that down there.
Oh, gosh.
Oh gosh. These are not things I want to happen. These are just things I threw down on a piece of paper. How many people are Yellowstone fans? Kevin
Big time.
Costner. Anybody
Big time.
watching that? 1883 and 1920, whatever. It's become a whole franchise. I predict Kevin Costner will really run for governor in Montana.
Oh, wow. Wow.
I think people love him in that Montana series so much. He might just run. Something in the news, I don't know what it is. Robert Kiyosaki, Grant Cardone, Anthony Robbins. I don't know what. Something about those guys will be big in the news this year. Not sure what it's going to be. Russia and Ukraine, back to them. I think they're both so sick, tired of the war, and it's going on and on. Both will be exhausted eventually, and maybe they'll sit down and work something out.
Mm.
Because it's basically at a stalemate now. And when both sides spend enough money and enough people die, people sit down and figure out something. So maybe that'll.
It's raining outside.
I'm sorry, Brandon. Hello. And Brandon, you have something to say? Okay, he's frozen. Say a lot.
Why do you
Go ahead.
why do you think that Donald Trump is going to die?
I don't know. I don't know if it's natural causes, an assassination for him or Putin. It was just something that came in my head and I threw it on a piece of paper. I'm not saying I hope it happens. I'm not political here. It's just, these are just prognostications. These are predictions that I throw on this piece of paper here. I spent a few hours throwing things down based on ideas, research, and just hunches. Okay. So take it for what it is. I don't know why.
Are you psychic?
I think seriously, I think a lot of being psychic is a lot of common sense, 2 + 2, putting together logical ideas and things like that to it. Did you guys ever, I'll give you an idea. I think we all have a certain amount of psychic ability. Did you guys ever go in the woods and go hiking or something like that? And all of a sudden the hair on the back of your neck stood up?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Because I spent a lot of time in Colorado hiking and stuff. And that usually means to me that there's a mountain lion or a bear nearby. I think we have, for millions of years of evolution, it may not be psychic ability, but it's intuitive, isn't it?
Yeah.
Things like that. I've been pretty good with business in my 30+ year career about predicting ups and downs and where to invest, the good areas to locate. Most of it, I think, is common sense, though. Absolutely. Are you psychic?
Me?
Yeah,
Sometimes.
yeah.
Get
Um,
feelings about things. Mhm.
hotels. I think with all this inflation and I believe unemployment is going to rise. What do companies do when they're not making money? If companies are not making money, big corporations, they're not selling cars, or people are not flying on airlines, what's the next thing companies do?
They start
Common
cutting
sense.
back.
Fire people.
They fire people, and we're going to see a rise in unemployment. I read a good article. One of my favorite magazines is called The Week. I don't know if you guys read this. It's a great magazine. It takes articles from all over, pro, con, Republican, Democrat, conservative, liberal, and it gives you a broad idea of the news from the previous week. And they had an article that said hotels, Airbnb, VRBOs are not going to do very well. Their numbers are going to come way down. Why?
Maybe because people don't have the money to travel.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's going to happen to restaurants? Expensive restaurant. How much is meat going to go up? I saw this. It's also on my and I'll be sending this out to you guys. I did email it this morning. Have you guys noticed what does a steak cost in Costco? Have you guys seen, when you get those tray of steaks, those 3 steaks, they cost more than my first car.
Mm.
Okay, what's going on with meat? My carnivores out there. Who likes a good steak? Who likes a good ribeye steak or T-bone once in a while? What's going on with meat?
Filet mignon.
Filet mignon, a nice filet mignon.
Yeah.
You go to Ruth Chris Restaurant, one of my favorite places. What do you think? A nice T-bone and filet. I think it's usually in Ruth Chris. Last time I went, it was like $70, $80 for a T-bone. What do you think that's going to go up to?
Wow.
Hey,
100.
Claude, I want to also inject, you were talking about fuel and oil earlier. Another thing to keep an eye on is the diesel, not just the price, but the availability. There are some areas, like right now on the east, where they're having a shortage of diesel. And if that happens, anything that you buy in the store is going to be a real problem, because 99% of the stuff we get is comes in on rail or it comes in on a truck. Most of it comes on a truck. So that if that happens, that's going to be catastrophic.
Yeah. Yeah. I think gas is going to go down eventually. We're seeing it now here in Colorado, gas is, I think $3 something. There's some parts of the country where gas is in the $2 range right now. Anybody?
Yeah, but the problem is gas and diesel, it's separate, because diesel has to be processed differently. And there's different states have different regulations on how it has to be processed. So the price of gas is going down here as well, but diesel is not.
Yeah.
And that's a real problem.
It's, diesel used to be the cheapest thing around, and these poor truckers are paying a fortune for diesel right now. They still are.
A lot of them are getting out, which is also creating problems.
Yeah. This country lives on trucks.
Yeah.
Okay. Who kept this country going during the early pandemic days? Remember? 2019, March 2019, who kept this country going when everything was shut down? The truckers.
Yeah.
Those good people there. So hotels, how many investors here have an Airbnb or VRBO? They do that with their properties. Tim, what do you think about that prediction?
I agree. I'm actually seeing our Airbnb go down in the number of people that are renting on a consistent basis. And I'm just glad I refinanced early on and got a nice low interest rate, and I can rent it long term if I have to.
Interesting.
Yeah. I think the first thing that happened. Go ahead, Jessica.
I was just wondering what the location was of his Airbnb.
That is in Joshua Tree, California.
Oh, really?
Beautiful area.
Yes.
I love it. I love the desert.
Yeah. Gosh. Yeah.
That's near Palm Springs?
Yeah, right next to Palm Springs, 29 Palms. I mean, right next to 29 Palms, but
yeah,
it's out in that part of the desert.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to see when people's money doesn't go as far as it used to, and they're spending, they used to spend $100 a week at the grocery store. Now they're spending $200 for the same amount of groceries. Something's got to give, right? The rent, the mortgage payments, travel, all the discretionary things are going to be there. How will Walmart do? I got a little note here about Walmart.
Good.
Walmart's
Great.
numbers are up and they're going to continue to go up. Why is a retail store going to do fantastic?
It's budget. It's budget merchandise.
Yeah, you can go in, as opposed to Costco. Costco, you got to go and buy the 50-gallon jar of pickles, right, to get the best buy. But sometimes you don't want a 50-gallon jar of pickles or 5-gallon or whatever they are. Okay, you want a 1-gallon jar of pickles.
Yes.
You think people are going to start avoiding costs? Do you think these price clubs, Costco's, where you got to pay a fee to go in, do you think people are going to, Amazon Prime, do you think people are going to renew their $150? What's Amazon Prime now? I think $150 a year or something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
So do you think people are going to renew these memberships from Amazon Prime and from Costco and things like that when money's tight?
No.
You can walk.
Anything that isn't essential will.
Disney is already in trouble and losing a lot of money. And the problem is, everybody's got a service. You got Shudder and Hulu and Amazon and Netflix and what's the other one? There's so many. Warner, Paramount Plus is now getting in the game. They're a couple years late, but it's now costing you more than your cable bill that you got rid of.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Do you think
Right.
people are going to cut back? How many of us have more than one subscription streaming service?
Guilty.
Okay. How many
Guilty.
people have two? How many have three or more?
Guilty
many
as
have-
charged.
How many have five different things? Okay. Hulu and Disney and all that, right? Are we from the pandemic? Were we addicted to all these things? We were home all the time, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But we don't have to do that anymore. So what goes up will come down. Disney, you mentioned a good thing, Sean. Has anyone gone here with a spouse, significant other, and 2 kids to Disney? How much does that cost? Okay,
I looked it up yesterday. A single adult ticket price to Disney World, drum roll please, $109. That does not include your food. It does not include your parking, any of these other services, getting back and forth. None of that. That's just a ticket for one day.
Wow.
I think a family of 4 going, and that's not even with the quick pass, with the better pass, okay, which I believe is closer to $150 on that ticket. Okay, so right away, just to get through the door after parking and everything else, $500-600. Okay, I have a ski area down the street here from me. I'm in Winter Park, Colorado. Someone, if there's any skiers in the audience, guess what a lift ticket cost during Christmas? Take a
$10.
$275
Wow.
to go skiing
Wow.
one day.
Wow.
Wow.
That's real money. Where's all this money going to come from people, right?
Gosh.
Yeah.
I was gonna guess $20 and I thought that was too high.
I think Disney, Legoland, Universal Studios, Knott's Berry Farm, these people are going to be hurting unless they start adjusting their prices. You're going to start seeing specials and think from companies that are hurting. How about restaurants? Are restaurants going to do more specials if people are not coming?
Yes.
They're not spending $8 for a bottle of Budweiser anymore.
No.
And all that stuff. So you're going to see change. You're going to see changes coming on.
Yeah.
Something on a good news. We've heard a lot about everybody here about a week ago about the success with the experiment with the cold fusion.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. I think this is a game changer. I don't know when it's going to happen. I hope I live to see it, But if we have the same reason that that sun keeps burning in the sky and all those stars, that is fusion. And they found an experiment that they could create more energy than they're using in that experiment. If they can keep taking it, that could be a game changer for the world. Can you imagine a world with unlimited energy and no carbon excretions anymore?
Yeah.
What will that be a game changer if we had unlimited free energy for the entire world?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I think real estate is going to adjust and drop 5 to 20% in certain markets.
Wow.
Okay. Is anyone seeing those kind of adjustments yet in certain markets? I think, Brandon, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you're in Scottsdale, Phoenix.
Yeah, Phoenix market.
Phoenix is a kind of Arizona is like a bellwether for me. I really watch it closely. Are your prices going down right now or flattening out, or what's going on there?
Yeah, they're kind of like leveling out. They are going down. They've gone down quite a bit actually.
Oh,
So like in my neighborhood, let's say the average house was selling around 550, 525. They're under 400 now.
Wow.
so
Holy
I just predicted 5 to 20% adjustment. Do you think I'm being too conservative here?
So I was talking to one of the head economists at ASU and a couple of the guys that are in the RIA groups out here that follow a lot of this stuff. And the consensus seems to be we're probably going to be to pre-pandemic prices.
Interesting.
Hmm.
As interest rates continue to rise, they're saying
Yeah, it's all contingent on interest rates, really.
interest rates, employment, and everything else that's going on right
One
now.
of the things I was going to point out to you on unemployment, because I was an econ major, so I'm kind of a nerd for this stuff. There's a group of disenfranchised people that aren't even looking for work of over 1 million people.
Wow.
So right now there's 6 million unemployed, but it's really higher than that because people just aren't even looking for work. They're just kind of like fed up.
Right.
I
And they're all on unemployment. Do they go on unemployment?
I think they were on unemployment. They may have ran out. You know, they may be doing what they call gig economy type stuff, like
Okay.
Uber or Lyft or DoorDash and stuff like that.
Okay.
I just see it as employment will rise to historic levels as companies lay off, fire, early retire to lower expenses to retain profit margins. I'm seeing certain inflation will rise as reckless government spending continues.
Yeah.
What? Yes.
We didn't pass almost a $2 trillion bill. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, they're just printing money. They're spending money on programs and things. This is
Yep.
the time. This is the time. What did Ronald Reagan do to end all this inflation and stuff like that? Study your history books. Okay. You cut.
He went crazy on the interest rates.
Yeah.
Went sky high, like 18% on homes. That was the interest rates on homes, but it went really high for a short time. It was
Yeah.
Vogel, right?
Hmm.
He cut back on government spending too. Hey,
Mhm.
Claude, sorry, I have to jump off. Okay, somebody just jumped off on that. Inflation will rise, unemployment, on there. Sean Osby is back here. Your stake is going to rise. We said that before. We said that
Hmm.
before.
Okay.
Let me get here, see if I can get this little thing. Okay, little funny thing here. Kanye West, known as Ye, will be. This is one of my predictions. Will go to the rabbinical yeshiva, and he will be circumcised. He's been known for saying a lot of anti-Semitic stuff. I was being funny there. I think woke is dead. Thank God. I think woke is going away. I think when times get tough, people get back to grassroots and common sense, and I think that's going away. So these are These are my predictions here on there. I see it as opportunities, especially for those of us in real estate who have tightened our belt, who saved up a little money, who have lowered our liabilities on credit cards and consumer debt and things like that. This is the time when smart people, what does Warren Buffett do when the feces hits the rotary oscillator? What does he historically always do?
He buys.
He buys. Why? He's getting bargains now. So don't follow. You're going to see a lot of histrionics. People say, I can't afford things. You're going to see a lot of stuff on TV. Smart people are going to see opportunities. Life will go on. It'll just be different. People won't travel as much. They won't buy new cars. They won't, they're going to have to, they're not going to go to Disneyland for a while. It's not going to go on forever. It's going to go on it's going to go on through 23 and maybe into 24. Usually politicians, when it's an election year, they start to do things to make life better so they get reelected. So probably you won't see anything till close to the next election in 24. Anybody agree, disagree, have their own predictions here? Let me turn it over to you guys.
When will the stock market recover? It's another question, but
When companies make money,
5 years.
I don't know. The stock market is kind of like an emotional barometer. What's going on in the stock market right now?
Fear.
Stock market is usually, you want to talk about being intuitive or being psychic. The stock market is usually 3 to 6 months ahead of what investors feel is going to happen down the road. It's a good bellwether.
With the housing market, I was talking to some folks. They feel like that the flippers are ahead, like they're seeing what's going on, so they're slowing down. But the sellers, the homeowners, are like 6 months behind.
We saw during the pandemic there was a moratorium on evictions and on foreclosures. Okay, but do you think the banks? Now we're coming out. Oh, I had a note I have one note here. I didn't really touch on it here. The pandemic, the flu, the RSV. Do you think it's going to get better, worse, or stay the same?
I think it's already gotten better. I think that a lot of people have already had it or have had all the vaccines or have, even those that have been vaccinated, have received COVID and stuff like that. So I think that'll die down a lot. I think the restrictions won't be as crazy. I do see a winter spike though. I see people kind of like being more careful when they go out and stuff like that. So
we're going to have a spike because what do people do during the holidays? New Year's is coming. What do people are doing? They're going to restaurants. They're going for family reunions. They're going to the airports. Okay. What are we seeing? I talked with a pediatrician about 2 weeks ago. Guess what they're seeing in the hospitals right now with children?
That virus, that RSV virus.
Yep. Yeah, it's
very
increasing.
Yeah.
I also spoke with another doctor who works in a hospital, and she said people are coming in with the trifecta with all three viruses at the same time. People who are susceptible to these things. Can that affect us again? China just loosened up things again finally in their country. Go ahead.
I'll make a prediction. I think real estate's going to be the safe harbor through the recession. I don't know. Do you agree, Claude? Or
Brandon just shared with us. Real estate it's based on simple economics, supply and demand. I think that's called Keynesian economics. Okay, the demand was very high for real estate and there was a limited supply and interest rates were very low. Everybody wanted a house. But right now, interest rates are going up. So the affordability factor is getting smaller and foreclosures are getting higher. Okay, and I think we still have a shortage out there. Also in rentals.
Yeah.
we have a shortage.
If we buy rentals or if we hold rentals, do you think that'll be one of the safe harbors of the recession?
Depends what state you're in.
Okay,
What did California have in the news this last weekend? Oh my God.
Yeah,
Oh.
they got rid of they got rid of criminal background checks, so you can know.
The crazy Soviet socialist state of Southern California, Northern California, Alameda County said you can no longer check for the criminal you can no longer check if the tenant who is applying to go into
oh,
your home
wow.
has a criminal background. That's insanity.
That's
A lot of the stores like CVS and stuff have started closing up stores because they can't even prosecute shoplifters up to, what is it?
Terrible.
I forget what the
if-
amount is.
If crazy
Terrible.
San Francisco is going to, what do they call it? Smash and grab. Have you guys watched that
Yeah.
on YouTube?
Yeah,
Okay. I mean, that's happened in the Mall of America in Minnesota and stuff
Mm.
like that. If,
Yeah.
you know, that's going to be a crime is on the uprise right now.
yeah.
And if governments are not going to enforce law and protect people and businesses, guess what businesses are going to say?
Forget it.
Bye-bye. We're leaving
Yeah.
your state, we're county. It's crazy.
Yeah.
We'll go to someplace. We'll go to Omaha, right, Sean?
Yeah, but just you were mentioning about the evictions and stuff. The city council 2 weeks ago passed through something very sneaky. They called it something else, but essentially it's a rent control bill. And
Mm.
essentially what it does is it's going to charge all landlords in Douglas County an additional fee so that you cannot evict someone if they don't pay the rent. And
Hmm.
then what you have to go to remediation. After remediation, you have to go to arbitration. And then arbitration, by the way, this takes about 30 days apiece.
Yeah,
Then they can get an attorney, which will be financed by you, the landlord, because now you're getting a new tax to finance
Wow.
attorneys to sue you when someone damages your property and won't move out of your property. That's the bill.
Wow.
Even in Omaha, we're getting
Really?
this crazy crap.
We're all, a lot of us are investors here. If we get too much government interference for the hard work and the risk that we're willing to take, what is going to happen to investors? What are they going to do?
we won't do it as much.
We won't do it as much, or we're going to move to much friendlier landlord places, right?
Mm.
Okay, these are crazy times with very crazy politicians who never worked an honest day in their life. And there was a lady, I've talked about this before. She was in her 60s. Her husband passed away. She had 8 properties that they worked very hard for the last 25 years, buying, rehabbing, fixing, and that was supposed to be her retirement. And she couldn't evict people who were not paying the rent on this. And she, in her 60s, had to go work at a French fry machine or something like that. How long before investors start moving, like companies? We're seeing companies move from unfriendly business states. It happened. Like I said, I'm not political. This is just common sense, right?
Well, they're in California, they're actually presenting a bill where if you are I think they consider it a billionaire, maybe even a millionaire up to a certain amount, that they will tax you even after you leave. They're trying to get some money after you leave.
I still live in California. I love California. We have I live in Colorado, California, North Carolina. We just change houses instead of taking vacations. And I love California. I love the weather. I love in February, it's 75, 80 degrees. I like, but I moved my business 25 years ago to the state of Colorado, which is also starting to be Californicated a little bit. Okay.
Yeah.
Also, well, that's why I think right now, we were talking about Yellowstone, I think people love those Wild West more free cowboy states, Wyoming, Montana, Idaho. I think that's very attractive to people business people right now, where they can go into states and they can work hard and make an honest thing. Who's ever coughing, hit your button, please. There we go. Other predictions. I think investors are malleable, flexible people. We adjust to things, don't we? If we're in an unfriendly place, we move.
Yeah.
We're not going to build a house in a state. We're not going to build a house in a state where the government says, well, if you want to evict somebody, you have to pay the next 3 months of their rent in the new domicile. That's some, also, we're kind of down on California today. It's easy,
Yeah.
beating up California, but there are many
Claude,
other states like
I'll
that.
share one thing with you that I think is going to change over the next 2 years for all businesses across the board. Something called OpenAI.
OpenAI, artificial intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, tell me
It's
about it.
already, they're able to write scripts, they're able to write YouTube scripts, they're able to write articles, it's able to write papers for kids in school. You're able to take that artificial intelligence that's written out and then create a video with that and artwork and stuff along with it too. So I think you're going to see a lot of digital media and social media change and people using a lot of AI a lot more.
Have you seen
Go ahead.
have you seen Chat GPT?
Yeah,
it's pretty insane.
it is
Yeah, you can,
fun.
like-
It's amazing, Claude. It's actually really amazing.
Yeah, it actually, because I'm a software engineer, so one of the really interesting things about it is you can write like a very like high level prompt for a program you want to write in any language, and it'll actually write it with like pretty good syntax, even something a bit more complex like C++ or like I don't know, like Rust or like anything else that has like very like kind of intricate syntax. It'll actually put that together. It's really interesting. It'll even like comment of or no, even better yet, you can actually give it code and it'll actually like critique, like you can say, hey, like what's wrong, like why won't compile, and it'll say, hey, you might want to like change like this like indentation or this variable or whatever. So it's pretty cool.
It's called
Question.
Chats GPT, Claude.
ChatGPT.
Could you guys put that? Could somebody put that in the text area for me, please? Like, question for you, Alex. You're our software guy. How is this going to hurt original thought and creativity?
I mean, right now I think it's still like kind of in like that proof of concept stage. So I mean, it's impressive for sure. But I don't think it's like at that point where we could like seriously like use it to like augment like creativity. I think it could definitely get to that point, but I think there's still like a long ways to go. But yeah, I mean, I think it'd be like a useful tool for just because there's a lot of like kind of like mundane like lines of thought or just like tasks that could just that could like be automated.
Okay. Interesting. Thank you for putting those links in the text area. You guys click on that stuff and read it. I want to talk about health for a moment here. I think we're a leader in health. I think we're still, there's a lot of criticism about American healthcare, but I still think we're one of the, if not the leader in the world in healthcare. I think I think people are going to live a lot longer. We're going to see more and more people live well into their hundreds, not 90s, but hundreds, 110, 120, maybe even more, 130. I think
Wow.
this is one of my predictions. It wasn't on my sheet. It was on another sheet here.
Okay.
I think we're discovering things about overcoming cancer. Look what we've done. Do you guys remember back in the 60s and 70s, how many the heart attacks people had and things like that? That's gone tremendously down. Same thing, cancer. We're discovering a lot of things. I do intermittent fasting, if you guys know about that. I eat one meal a day.
Yeah.
Some people are going 2 and 3 days. Guess what they're discovering about what happens to our body when we don't eat all that processed food all the time? Guess what happens? Our body, something called autophagy, our body takes over and starts repairing and doing wonderful things. So I think healthcare is going to improve, even though we had all this pandemic and so. Jessica, you're my local healthcare expert. What do you think?
Well, in genetics, the advancements in genetics, things like CRISPR, and where we're getting to really understand DNA, us on a really very basic cellular level, is going to make a big difference to our health. And some of you probably know I go and have stem cell therapy in Europe, and think all those therapies are going to get more popular and be more successful. So yeah, Claude, that's interesting. You say we're going to live longer. I hope that you're right. I think that's a great prediction.
I think we're going to live longer and healthier. They're going to find a way to overcome Alzheimer's and things like.
Yeah.
Claudia's mom is 96. The woman is sharp as hell. I met a woman at a party that I know, a Christmas party. Her mom is 98 and still drives. Scary.
Wow. Wow.
How many people here know people in their 90s who are functioning and stuff like that?
Yeah, there's certain parts of the world where one of them is like, I think it's like right around Yorba Linda, California, where people just seem to live longer and be healthy.
They're the Seventh-day Adventists.
Yeah.
Part of their religion is eating, I believe, a great deal of fresh food. They're vegans or vegetarians, I believe. Do we have a Seventh-day Adventist in the audience? Anybody? Yeah, that's that Loma Linda. You're right. And their longevity, functioning people, healthy, well into their 80s.
Yeah, or beyond.
Yeah, statistically, they're doing something right.
Yeah.
They call it you ever read the book called The Blue Zone? Why do certain people in certain parts of the world don't get cancer, heart disease, any respiratory problems, and they live longer? What is
Do you recall what the Blue Zone areas are? I know I read that on National Geographic.
Parts of mountainous Italy, where they have tons of centenarians. I don't know the exact part. If you go, it's in National Geographic, has a wonderful, if you Google National Geographic, the Blue Zone, there's a wonderful article from about 10, 12 years ago on this topic. And Dan, somebody wrote the book, The Blue Zones.
Yeah, I'm looking for my, I can't find my National Geographic.
What's gonna happen to Social Security, God, from my mouth to God's ears, if we all live to be 125?
We're gonna run out of money.
Yeah, well, they'll just print up more, right?
I hope so.
What's gonna happen to states that are anti-landlord, anti-developer? They're penalizing people for being entrepreneurial. What's going to happen to those states 10, 20 years from now?
People will leave.
Yeah. Do people move? Yeah.
Mhm.
We see, is there a migration going on right now to Florida, to Texas, maybe even Omaha, right, Sean? I mean, people are moving to friendlier, business-friendly states.
Yeah.
You know, what did Henry Ford say about America? The business of America is doing business, right?
Yeah.
Claude, I just threw a link from Twitter. This is a guy named Nick who is he follows a lot of statistics and stuff too. He's on YouTube. Texas had a 231,000 increase in migration. Florida had 319,000, while California lost 343,000 people. And New York lost 300,000 people.
Yeah, and the stats are really important because California says, oh, well, people are still moving here. But what is the income of the people leaving those states? They're higher income people and companies, okay? These are not people on Social Security. These are not people who are on a lower income scale. These are people who are, who spend money and hire other people and stuff and buy things. And what happens when what companies have left and gone to Texas recently? Wasn't it, is it Tesla? Is it Apple? Toyota, I think, left. Toyota, okay.
One of the big jet companies, Boeing, is talking about moving, or they already are moving.
And how come
Where are they moving?
I don't know. I didn't really pay much attention to the article. I just heard it in passing.
Okay.
But it's one of the big aviation engineering companies.
What's going on in Florida? We got a Floridian in the audience here. What's going on in Florida? It's like the center of the universe this year, we discovered. Why is everybody moving to Florida all of a sudden? It's a healthy economy, right?
Yes. Good cost of living, housing's cheaper. It's still coastal. People like the beach and the water. So aging.
But, you know,
population.
Governor Newsom did win the Employee of the Year for U-Haul. Just so you know.
Interesting. I think, you know, in the end, I think a lot of politics goes out the window when people can't put food on their table, can't pay bills.
Yeah.
I think it doesn't, you know, I think that's what people's perception is. What's the quality of my life here, and who's going to help me to get it better? And where should I live where I can have a better quality of life?
Yeah.
Bill Pinnell, you need to jump in on this.
Not
Gee.
used to doing it on my phone.
What do you think about all this stuff? A lot of hoo-ha?
Oh, there is a lot of hoo-ha. There's definitely, you can see the trends, you know, because my wife and I, like 2 or 3 years ago, we talked about retiring and moving to, you know, Scottsdale or down to Florida, Orlando area. And now all of a sudden that's the destination. So kind of you're prognosticating, those were things that we saw would be nice places to be, and there it's coming. Yeah, I think the draw to Florida is with the governor and the rules there and all that. I can't believe what's going on out in California, especially with the criminal background check. I mean,
That's
I-
insane.
yeah, I mean, you couldn't pay me to buy a house there. You know, you couldn't give me your house there because you're tying your own hands. And then with the what Sean was talking about with you know, I think it was Sean that said about the 3, you know, you have to pay to get sued yourself,
Ugh.
and that trying to evict people, that's no common sense.
Yeah.
Or
Or if you
that
want
thing
to,
that they're doing in Omaha is, I don't know if that's unique to Omaha. Essentially what it is it's an attempt at rent control. But I know that
Right.
in, you know, especially New York and California, they already have some kind of rent control. It's just that here they're adding an additional tax, and they're going to tax you if you own a property, so that if someone refuses to move out and you go through the remediation, arbitration, and there's another step, and they decide to sue you, you then have to pay into the fund for them to have a lawyer to sue you, which seems to me looks like that's just suicidal.
Yeah.
You know, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
what investor in their right mind is going to take the risk, get loans, improve properties when they know that they can't in the end get rewarded for their hard work?
Yeah.
Right.
Or they're going to face a lot of bureaucratic obstacles on it. They're not going to.
No.
They're going to move to, they're going to do it in friendlier places. And you're going to see there's going to be shortages in those neighborhoods. Okay, we're almost out of time here. Anybody have last word here? I still think I'm an optimist. I'm always a glass is half full, hopefully of good tequila. I like tequila. On it. No matter what happens, I've lived through enough ups and downs in my lifetime. And the thing about it is, if you work hard, you know, use a little bit of, I'm going to use some bad language here, common sense. You could still live a great life in this country, no matter what the economy. You just have to adapt. You have to change with the changing times. Don't get caught up in the histrionics, in the mob mentality. There's always opportunity. Whenever something, they close the door, we open up a window, right, guys?
Mhm. Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
definitely.
Things will, and I see this going into, there will be changes. It will be tough for a lot of folks, and my heart goes out to them. But a lot of people will see opportunities here, and it won't last forever, and we'll go back to a streaming, successful economy. I know one good thing: you guys will have a great year. And I wish all of you health and happiness and prosperity going into 2023. And thank you all for joining us here today. Thank you. Give yourselves a round of applause.
Thank you, Claude.
Take care, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Have
Thank you.
a safe and happy New Year too. Be careful out there, okay?
Thanks, everybody.
Take that with some music.
Thanks, Claude.
So some music. What do we need? Music. You're right. Let's go. Let's see. Oh, one of my favorite songs. Oh, let's do this one. A little more Starship here.
Okay.
We built this city on rock and roll.